Joining us now, Peter Saltonstall, President and CEO of the National Organization of Rare Disorders, also known as NORD. And here on set with us, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, our friend, former FDA commissioner and a CNBC contributor. Welcome to both of you. Peter, let me begin with you. What is a rare disease? How do you define it?
Rare disease in the United States is defined as a population of patients under 200,000. And that's the driver for the Orphan Drug Act.
If you put all of those diseases with 200,000 or fewer cases combined, how many people are you talking about in the aggregate?
Well, we say that there are 7,000 rare diseases and about 30 million people in America, 1 in 10 Americans that are impacted by rare diseases. So it's a significant number.
So rare diseases are prevalent then. They may be rare, but in some, they are quite prevalent.
That is correct. That is correct. And I would say, Tyler, that, the important thing here is that with the 7,000 rare diseases and the 30 million Americans, 95% of them now don't have an authorized or an approved FDA therapy. And so that's a real challenge. So we have 95% of the population who don't have a therapy.
How costly are these diseases in the aggregate, number one? And number two, are they normally life-threatening, life-limiting, or are they chronic and manageable in that sense?
I'm not a physician, so I'll let Scott answer part of that question. But I can tell you that they are economically a burden on the economy and the country. Because the issue of being misdiagnosed happens to patients continually. I mean, we have most of our patients. It takes 4 to 5 years to get diagnosed. So there's a lot of healthcare costs that goes into that before there's even a therapy developed. So it's an expensive and a timely and a complicated issue for patients.
Scott, are rare diseases increasing? It feels like I'm hearing about them more, or is it just the awareness of such is what we're hearing about?
Yeah, I think it's awareness, and I think it's also that more rare diseases are addressable now. So now we're talking about them. NORD has been instrumental in getting in place incentives for companies to try to develop drugs for these diseases, including the Orphan Drug Act, getting that implemented initially and also sustaining it. I think we're in an environment now where it's more difficult to get policy to confer incentives for the development of some therapeutics for these rare diseases. And what we're looking at is super orphan diseases, diseases that can affect thousands and sometimes hundreds of patients, where you now have the modalities to try to treat some of these diseases, where the economic incentives aren't always there. Notwithstanding the very high prices that are charged for these drugs, it could still be very uneconomical to develop therapeutics for these indications. And we don't have the same policy solutions for these challenges that we had years ago, because you don't have the same consensus in policy circles, and particularly diseases where you have sort of a common phenotype. So patients have a common experience, but there might be a different genetic variation for even individual patients, where you now have platforms like siRNA or oligonucleotides, where you could literally change the drug for each individual patient to attack some of these diseases like Batten's disease. Those are the places where it's very hard not only to get the incentives in place, but even the regulatory path for some of these potential cures and certainly treatments.
You're on the board of Pfizer, right? How do you incentivize a large pharmaceutical company to try and develop a drug for one of these rare diseases when they know that it may be 150 people in the United States who might take it?
Yeah, I think the challenge for a bigger drug maker getting into some of these spaces is when you look at some of these drugs, if you're talking about just hundreds of patients that might suffer from a condition, the sort of political backlash to charging the high prices that you need to sustain the investment and get a return on the investment is very hard to do inside a big drug maker, because they're more prone to getting the sort of political recriminations over the high prices. So you see this be largely the domain of smaller companies, which I think have more latitude to charge those prices. So you've seen in recent years large companies get out of these orphan spaces, and that does worry me, that you see capital coming out. And I'm talking particularly about the super rare diseases, where there still, I think, is a market failure. And also, it's very hard to do second-to-market innovation in some of these indications. So what happens is, after a therapy comes to market and you treat everyone with an inherited condition, for example, the number of patients who will be newly diagnosed each year with that condition isn't enough to sustain someone else coming into that space. And so some of these categories remain monopolies in perpetuity, because you just can't incentivize second-to-market innovation that would bring down prices.